2009, solar really didn't exist in terms of an energy source, particularly in Cornwall at least. And I think however you've arrived in Cornwall, you can't fail to notice as you come down to Truro the sheer amount of solar, but not only solar, wind as a renewable as well. But there is already a backlash against solar as well as wind. And I sit at my desk and I see many, many objections and complaints coming in. And that minority is becoming more vocal and it's becoming perceived to be potentially a majority. So it's not all doom and gloom, absolutely not, but I think there are lessons that we can learn from how we've got here so far about how we can drive this forward in the future. So what have we achieved? I will go back to the southwest here, and you can see there has been a monumental rise in the solar capacity throughout the southwest, and particularly in Cornwall. We've already installed, or you've already installed, 105 megawatts of ground-mounted solar PV. And we've got another 145 megawatts with planning permission not yet installed. So as I drive about, and I see solar farm after solar farm after solar farm, I'm thinking we're going to double that capacity in what we've already granted permission for. It does in the back of my mind say we really do have to now start taking account of what local communities want and what they say, and the whole of the community of Cornwall in that sense. There's a bit of a balance for people who object. There are many, many people who actually support renewable energy. I live in a house on the edge of St Newlyn East, which you may or may not know. But the outlook from our bedroom windows now is that some of the largest turbines in Cornwall are repowering with Farland Cross wind farm. And I regularly talk to people, and a few people are very, very anti-renewable, but it isn't the whole picture. A lot of people say, well, I quite like them actually. We thought they were going to be really big, and they are really big, but we quite like them. But one of the real opportunities in terms of winning that community over has been Scottish Power's willingness voluntarily to enter and provide community gain. The development was won on appeal, but since that appeal, they have voluntarily offered the local community money towards community infrastructure and community benefits. And local communities are struggling to heat and repair their community halls. They're struggling to keep their places tidy. And there is a real opportunity with the austerity programme as government money is taken out of communities, I believe, that renewable energy can be a part of giving back some of those communities the ability to do things themselves. And whether it's around energy, refitting and refurbishing community buildings so that they reduce their energy needs, which is what we've done with some of our government money, to just providing some small amounts of support to maintain a play area or park, I think is a real commitment which communities understand, and then they believe that they are, in exchange for hosting something which might otherwise be perceived as not offering people locally anything directly, they are genuinely getting something back for the whole of their community. How did we achieve what we've achieved? We are indebted to that team and to setting that up, but we're also indebted to the industry. The solar industry was new, and the solar industry was quite desperate, I think, to make use of the feed-in tariff, as it turned out that ended prematurely. And the industry, therefore, was very, very willing to work with us. And I think this is part of the success, because from day one, people came to us and wanted to work with us. And what we say to our committee is, I did sit, I'm going off a tangent here, I sat once at a committee, and one of the members of the committee said, after we just approved another solar farm, I don't know why we're sitting here, because we're not actually doing anything, because we haven't refused any yet. They have since. But the explanation we give to the committee is that out of all of the proposals that come across our desks, only 30% actually get to planning application stage. And that's because of the willingness of the industry to listen to the advice that we're giving, and the willingness of the industry to go down the route of talking to people, talking to communities, and helping those communities as well as the industry itself. And that means that the majority of those applications will then get through, will get approved. Not entirely all of them, but the majority of them. But we also wanted to put in place an understanding. So we spent a lot of time training our planning committee, our strategic planning committee, and our other committees about natural resources and about the renewables industry and about solar. And I think through that understanding, we achieved a lot of our early success. And we've also, as a head of planning and regeneration, and part of the reason for me having regeneration in my title is that my job is not just to be a regulator, it is also to be a promoter of the things that are needed to make the change that the country and Cornwall needs. So we have gone out of our way to promote and bring people together to promote renewables energy in Cornwall. And we've been running a highly successful Cornwall Renewable Energy Show. It's going to be the Green Cornwall Show next year, so we're taking the slant of it slightly away. But we've had a lot, it has really helped in bringing people together, and local communities and suppliers have all appreciated, we believe, those opportunities. But I want to touch as well on what Chris has been saying, because the legacy beyond community benefit is about the economy and it's about jobs. And one of the things that really pleased me about our opportunity in St Austell with the National Solar Centre is the ability to bring a catalyst that will mean a reason why the industry would like to locate in Cornwall. And we have a lot of faith and a lot of belief that that's the right thing to do. But this local supply chain, using local labour, we have had a bit of backlash when people haven't had time to recruit locally and brought in imported labour. And it just makes a difference. And it makes a difference not for your scheme on that particular, just that one time. It makes a difference next time you present a scheme. People have long memories, particularly in Cornwall. And I think if you get it wrong once, then that memory is very difficult to shift. And I've learned that lesson through house building to solar to everything else. If you do it the right way and build a good reputation, that is one of the best things that you can do for the future. So the supply chain, using local companies wherever you can, using local labour is crucial, and Cornwall Development Company has been very helpful in putting together the Cornwall Supply Chain Directory, and also offering an inward investment service whereby we will give help and advice for free to people who want to come and invest in Cornwall. But what does it mean for Cornwall? If you get this right, you can have cost of it. It's about income for local farmers. That's a fantastic opportunity very often for diversification, when other products such as milk aren't giving them very much profit at all. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for communities, it's an opportunity for local people to get jobs, and it's an opportunity for resilience in terms of the point that was made just before me. Whether it's dramatic or not, whether the lights will go off or not, it cannot help, it can't be wrong in my view, strategically, to be thinking that if we're resilient at the local level, that stops to be a good thing as we move forward in a world where, in terms of energy at least, we don't know what the future is going to bring. So I think for Cornwall to see that it's got its own local resilience is a great thing. And the opportunity for business to drive down their own costs through reducing their own energy costs and producing other mechanisms of income for those businesses is also an opportunity. But it does create tension. And I think the single wind turbines probably are the biggest tension for Cornwall because they're very different. They're in different places. They're not grouped together particularly well in some places, but they help local business. So there's a real dilemma. And I think it can also be that dilemma about solar as well. So what have we learned? We've got to be prepared. I would say to anybody, the main thing is to see the opportunities, to understand how quickly the industry will move, and be prepared to help the industry change direction if need be, and help the industry take itself where it needs to go, depending on opportunity. But it's really important for me that the industry itself takes a leadership role in saying to Cornwall, we want to work in Cornwall for you and to help you. And if that leadership is shown by the industry, as Chris has said, it's sure that the local enterprise partnership will then be more than willing to support the growth of that industry and wants to support the growth of that industry. But I think our elected members would also be able to see the benefits for their communities and help their communities in their own leadership role be able to take the development of solar forwards. Because each of our members has a very big area, and they do have that leadership role, and they're the people who get all the complaints. And I feel very sorry for the elected members, because I only probably get a tenth of the objections and complaints that they do. So you need to help those elected members as well. You need to go and help them and work with them, talk to their communities. Where are we going in Cornwall with solar? We have another 1 and a bit more times what we can already see to be installed. Change has happened very quickly, and I think in terms of landscapes, change normally happens very slowly. When change happens very quickly, people find that change very hard because it's a very quick impact and people haven't had time to assimilate and absorb that change into how they feel. And I think that's a really important point, is to understand how people feel about their landscapes. But whereas there's probably places we would direct you away from, I think in terms of how we understand Cornwall, this actually is a picture of Carr Clays, where hopefully the National Solar Centre will end up as part of a new community. There are real opportunities, perhaps where we've already got disturbed landscapes, to absorb renewable energy, to absorb solar in particular, into a transformation of those landscapes into something new. Now I know that can't be what happens in each and every opportunity, and there are many other places where solar will probably be acceptable as well. But I think it is important to understand that people feel that a lot of the Cornish landscape is very cherished. And whilst these are perhaps two extremes, within the middle of that is a lot of grey. It's important that we choose the right site, the right grey site, in terms of where we put solar, so that we don't affect what Cornwall has in terms of its natural beauty. But there is real opportunity, and I'm hoping that the National Solar Centre, as part of a transformed landscape to the north of St Austell, and as part of a transformed new community, will act as a catalyst to the solar industry in Cornwall. Thank you very much.